Okay, so I had a problem. My wife was driving home one day and she said that the car was not getting hot, the heater wasn't working. So I was thinking heater core issue. But anyways, right before she got home, she says, "Hey, it's overheating, it's in the H." Okay, so she got home and luckily I don't think there's any lasting damage because it was pretty cold when it happened outside. But so anyway, I kind of found out that, well, I was getting a check engine light, which was a P0117, I believe, which is the engine coolant temperature switch. Okay, and I did some research on that thing, and basically, if it's not working properly, it'll cause your car to overheat, and it'll also cause it to rough idle and just not run good. So I'm replacing that sensor, but because the car got overheated, the thermostat, I believe, is stuck fully open. It won't. It's like it's done. It's just how they design them to kind of save your engine. If the car overheats, it'll just get stuck all the way open to let the coolant circulate through the engine to protect the engine. So I'm gonna have to replace the thermostat as well, which is down in here. I got a video somewhere where I show you how to do that. Um, but I had to disconnect the hoses and stuff. I had to drain the fluid, obviously, the coolant, and get this hose out of my way, which is attached over in here, so I can get down in here. All right. Um, and I have a really long extended half-inch drive pivoting head ratchet with and I used one of my impact sockets. This is actually all Harbor Freight stuff, and it's the right size, the right length to get in there because that coolant temperature switch is kind of a bitch, and it's right tucked up in there. You see it? Here's your hose. Your radiator hose goes right here. It's right next to it, and there's a little clip. Be very careful with that clip because over time it'll get hard and cracked, and if you're too rough with it, you can damage the wiring, and then you can put everything back together and still have the same problem because now you're not getting proper voltage to that sensor. So you're going to get a flathead screwdriver, and you're going to just gently press in to that slotted area, press down, and push over, and it should just pop out to the side there and come loose. Okay, but basically you got to have a deep head or a deep well socket like this impact socket I have, and it's a 19 millimeter, and it'll actually fit over that plastic part of the sensor and over the where the areas you need to put the socket to remove it. And so I'll show you what the new sensor looks like. But I got it at Napa. I like Napa. I trust their stuff. Well, it doesn't tell you much, but right here is the information. TS6677. There's some other numbers there. I don't know if you need them or not, but this is for a 2010 Toyota Corolla. I don't think it does matter on the 1.8 liter, but I believe this is a 1.8 liter. Anyway, I don't think it matters on the engine size. I think they're both the same. But here's a new one right here. Looks like this. It goes into your engine, and it senses the temperature of the coolant, and it talks to your computer and all that crap, and it makes your car run right. So yeah, so hopefully after replacing the sensor, reconnecting it, replacing my thermostat down here, which is behind that plastic mount for your lower radiator hose there. It's right behind it, okay? There's a couple 10 millimeter bolts, I think, that hold that plastic port. It's hard to see, but it's right underneath it's right underneath the alternator, okay? And then hook everything back up, put the hoses back, fill it up with fresh fluid, and we'll see what happens. All right. Okay, I got that sensor, that engine coolant temperature sensor, put back in and hooked back up with the wiring harness, the clip there. All right, got my hose reconnected. I'll finish off the rest of the hosing after I get the thermostat done. because it's kind of in my way a little bit too over here. Now, before, this is the alternator. Before, you're going to have to disconnect these, the ground, the power lead, and there's like a mount for the wiring harness. You got to do all those 3 points, but before you do, make sure you disconnect the negative on your battery. So that way, you know, because if not, you bump a tool here against anything in here, it's just gonna blow up on you. You can get yourself hurt, and you could damage the alternator. So make sure you disconnect that negative on the battery before you remove this stuff. Get it out of your way so you can get down to that thermostat. Okay. All right. So sure enough, this thermostat to the left there, next to my thumb, that's the one I just pulled out. You see how it's got hot, it got damaged, it's stuck open, the spring on the bottom is compressed. This is the new one on the right. You see the difference? This one's closed, this one, the other one's stuck open. So that's like a safety thing, so you don't burn, you know, destroy your engine from the heat. It'll allow the coolant just to keep going through that engine. It'll just stay stuck open, and once it gets opened up like that, it's like done. It won't go back to normal. So you have to replace this if you overheat your car. Now there is, you see that little there's like a little brass. You see that little round thing? It wiggles around. You can see on the back side. You want to make sure that's straight up and down. 90 degrees straight up and down as you put it in to your motor. It's designed to go in that way, or else it won't work right, from what I've been told. Okay, so make sure you pay attention to that. That's going to be in the upright 90-degree position as you place it back into the motor. And you don't need to those 10mm nuts that go over those studs, don't over tighten them. It doesn't need it, okay? You just snug it up real good, and that's all you need. Oh, and by the way, just leave that housing on the hose. Don't disconnect the hose. It's too much of a bitch to try to get that back together, and you don't need to do it. So just get it, once you pull it off, get it out of the way where you could put the new one back in to that spot, okay? Maybe get a paper towel and kind of clean it up a little bit. All right, let's see here. All right, so I ran into a problem, and I don't remember the last time I did a thermostat in this car if I got a Toyota thermostat, but it does look a little bit different the way it's designed. But anyways, Toyota thermostat gives you this thickness of a gasket that goes around the outside of the thermostat. Okay, well, so I started getting leaks. I tightened this thing up and started filling it up, and it just pouring out. And it was pouring out. It wasn't sealing because this one from Napa, look how much thinner this is compared to the Toyota one. It's like a 1/16, okay? A 1/16 thinner than the one from Toyota. So I pulled off the one from the old one on the Toyota. The Toyota thermostat has the right crush, the right thickness, right? So now I believe it's going to seal. So that's kind of screwed up, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the guy at Napa gave me the wrong thermostat, or if it's just some dumbass kid put the wrong one on that thermostat. It's too thin, or I don't know what, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, I guess that's where you go with Toyota parts, huh? I usually don't have a problem with Napa. That's weird. Anyway, so I'm going to put this new thermostat with the old thermostat gasket. It's thicker, and see if that'll do the trick. All right, that was the ticket. That you got to have the correct thickness on that rubber gasket that goes around the thermostat to where when you tighten it up, that thermostat housing, that plastic housing piece, it'll crush that, you know, up against that rubber gasket for that thermostat, and it'll seal, and you won't get nothing coming out the bottom of your car like I was getting with the one that Napa gave me. It was the wrong thickness of gasket. It was kind of weird. But like I said, I just swapped it out with my old thermostat, and it worked just fine. And I took it for a test drive. The temperature now is coming up, and it's right where it's supposed to be. It's like halfway between cold and hot. That's like perfect normal operating range where it usually is. Before I had this problem, and there's no check engine light. I have this little stupid tire light because my sensors need to be replaced on the tires, but they're too expensive in my opinion, and I always check my tire pressure once a week anyway, so it's not a big deal. Just annoying to have it on, but I got 198,000 miles on this car, and hopefully I'll get a lot more. It's my work car, so I'm hoping to get some more miles out of it. But I'm pretty happy because it's been real cold, and I had to ride my bike to work in the morning, and that was getting old. So thank God I got this car fixed. So if you have that problem, and see, notice too, my idle, it's not going up and down. It's steady. My RPM needle there, nice and stable and steady where it's supposed to be. When that sensor, that engine coolant temperature sensor is out, it'll cause your idle to be all squirrely and go up and down when you're just stopped and you're idling. Yeah, and it'll cause your car to overheat, and that's what happened. And so there you go. If you have that problem, this is how you do it. It's how you fix it. Save you some money. Take care. Bye.